Battle of Taipale was a battle of the Soviet-Finnish War, during which Soviet forces attempted in December 1939 to break through the Mannerheim Line in the area of Taipaleen-yoki, now the Burana River, the southern arm of Vuoksi. Finnish forces were able to organize an effective defense in this area. On the Soviet side, the 49th, 142nd, and 150th Divisions approached Taipale by December 3. They had their own regular artillery, more than 300 guns, and over 100 tanks. The headquarters of the Soviet forces was located in Metsapertit, now Zaporizhzhia. The crossing over the Taipaleen-yoki was scheduled for December 6. The river crossing began during the day without sufficient artillery preparation and smoke cover, which resulted in a high number of casualties among the attackers who used rubber boats. The crossing was hindered by heavy machine gun fire from Finnish pillboxes. Among others, Lieutenant Didenko was killed during the crossing that day. Nevertheless, Lieutenant Yusov was successful, and he received the Golden Star of the Hero of the Soviet Union for the crossing. Major Turban particularly distinguished himself during the shelling of Finnish positions. On December 7, the Finns attempted to counterattack the Red Army troops who had entrenched themselves on the northern shore, at Cook, but they lost about 70 men, 30 killed. The losses of the Red Army were 4 times greater. On December 10, the 469th Regiment of the 150th Division was launched in an attack on Finnish positions in Kurvasmäki, but sustained significant personnel losses. The temporary commander of the 469th Regiment, Captain Dubany, was heavily wounded in battle and died from his injuries. The wounded chief of staff of the regiment, Captain Semyonov, was left on the battlefield during the retreat and froze to death. All 3 company commanders were wounded or killed, along with almost all the company leaders. The main success of the day was the capture of the pillbox Alcazar at the junction of the Mustayak stream and the Taipaleen River. For this feat, Captain Netreba was awarded the Gold Star of Hero. In the following 2 days, the Finns attempted to reclaim their positions. On December 15, Soviet troops began a tank attack with the forces of the 39th Tank Brigade commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Lelyashenko. On December 13, tanks, T-26, crossed the river to the landing area on the northern shore in Kukunimi. A 3-hour artillery bombardment preceded the tank attack of 59 vehicles. The shelling stopped at 11:30. During the attack, the tanks maneuvered poorly on the hilly northern bank. The enemy also managed to cut off the armored vehicles from the advancing infantry in the area of the Mustoya stream. To defeat the tanks, in addition to anti-tank guns, the Finns used Molotov cocktails. During an unsuccessful tank assault, the Soviet troops lost 28 tanks. During the tank attack on December 16, the Finns knocked out another 7 tanks. On December 17, in the area of the Mustoa ravine, the Soviet troops stumbled upon mined barriers and barbed wire entanglements. They were met with heavy machine gun and mortar fire. By December 20, the losses of the Soviet troops were so high that the 173rd Regiment had to be pulled back to the rear. On December 23, the Finns launched a counterattack, which was repelled by the Soviet side. About 100 people were killed on both sides. On the same day, an order was received to switch to defense due to the heavy loss of personnel in previous battles. Only on December 25, during the Finnish Christmas, the Soviet command launched an attack on the Finnish positions in the Kilia area through the ice of Savanto, intending to hit the rear of the 10th Finnish Division in the Taipale area. However, the attack failed. The front stabilized until the end of the war. The battle for Taipale, or rather, the crossing of the river under the deadly fire of the enemy, served as the plot foundation for Alexander Twardovsky's poem The Crossing. Yevgeny Dolmatovsky wrote a poem Memories of Taipaleen-yoki based on these events.